Hello there. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Najat Atutujani, and we're beginning with developments in the PDP, where some state chairmen of the party, some ex-governors, National Assembly members, former National Working Committee members, and other stakeholders of the PDP from the South have disowned a meeting scheduled by the party for today, Thursday, 21st August 2025. The concerned leaders are dismissing any resolutions, communique, or outcome from the meeting as reflective of the collective will and aspirations of the party. Kama reports.
A press statement jointly signed by PDP state chairmen from Imo, Abia, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and Rivers States, alongside other prominent leaders, including the National Vice Chairman, Southeast, Chidebere Egu Goodluck, and the Minority Leader of the House of Representatives, Kingsley Chinda, dismissed the Lagos meeting as neither binding or reflective of the collective will and aspirations of the PDP family across southern Nigeria. They stressed that several critical stakeholders, among them 7 state chairmen, national officers, senators, and former governors, were deliberately sidelined, raising serious concerns over inclusivity and due process. The PDP leaders insist that resolution from such meeting cannot assume the authority of consensus, warning that exclusionary tactics threatened the unity and stability of the party.
The press briefing is on the purported meeting of PDP Southern Zoning Consultative Summit. The attention of the undersigned chairman of the People's Democratic Party from the South and some critical stakeholders has been drawn to a meeting nicodemously summoned in Lagos today, the 21st day of August 2025, by some persons purporting to do so on behalf of the PDP members of the South, and they tagged the meeting PDP Southern Zoning Consultative Summit. This meeting is convened by the Admin Secretary Zoning Committee of the PDP at the behest of the Chairman of the Zoning Committee, our brother Honorable Senator Doye Diri, Governor of Bayelsa State, and it is to hold at the Legend Hotel Ikeja. The said meeting, tagged a summit, was allegedly convened in the name of the 3 geopolitical zones of southern Nigeria, that is the Southeast, the South-South, and the Southwest. We say that it is indeed highly regrettable and deeply disturbing that such a meeting was convened without the courtesy of inviting several state chairmen from the Southeast and the South-South, as well as the duly elected National Secretary of our great party, including the Deputy National Legal Advisor of our party, who is seated by my right. Even more troubling is the inexplicable exclusion of several national officers, eminent leaders, and critical stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party. Shockingly, my humble self, the Minority Leader of the House of Representatives in the National Assembly, and other principal officers of our party from the South-South and Southeast were also deliberately sidelined and denied participation in a meeting where such far-reaching and sensitive decisions on zoning, power rotation, and political equity are to be discussed. Equally concerning is the deliberate omission of most former governors from the Southeast and South-South, who are by every standard of history, every standard of pedigree and institutional memory, remain critical stakeholders in any conversation about the future direction of our party. Such a brazen disregard for established structures and statutory organs of the People's Democratic Party not only offends the spirit of collective decision-making, but also risks undermining the very foundation upon which our great party was built. The People's Democratic Party, since inception, has been anchored on the values of inclusivity, equity, consultation, and collective responsibility. Any process that deliberately sidelines key stakeholders, ignores the legitimate authority of national officers, and excludes elected leaders and ranking lawmakers, erodes trust, fuels division, and threatens party cohesion at a time when unity of our party is most needed. For the avoidance of doubt, we categorically dismiss any resolution, any communique, or any outcome purportedly emanating from the said meeting as neither binding on or reflective of the collective will and aspirations of the People's Democratic Party family across southern Nigeria.
The Southern PDP leaders affirmed their loyalty to the party, calling on the National Working Committee and National Executive Committee to disregard the Lagos meeting, which they insist is both illegal and divisive. Kama, NTA News.
Away from politics, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, has reiterated President Tinubu's commitment to enhancing the welfare of the Niger Delta region and addressing the region's challenges. This was when a delegation from the Niger Delta Ethnic Nationalities Youth Leaders Forum, led by Chairman and President of the Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide, Jonathan Lukubiri, paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja. Akume highlighted some of the president's efforts in tackling regional challenges, including the establishment of the University of Environmental Technology in Ogoniland to address ecological issues. He also acknowledged past initiatives such as the Ministry of Niger Delta Development Commission, and the Amnesty Program. The SGF commended the forum for their solidarity in mobilizing grassroots support for President Tinubu's re-election, emphasizing the importance of zoning and power rotation in promoting national unity, stability, and a sense of belonging. Jonathan Lukubiri thanked President Tinubu for his timely intervention in resolving the crisis in Rivers State and bringing peace and stability, expressing gratitude to the federal government for empowering youths from the Niger Delta through the Amnesty Program. Residents in Awka, Anambra State have applauded the present administration in Nigeria led by President Tinubu during a sensitization campaign on Tinubu midterm reports. That report will come in subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Education Loan Fund says that upkeep loan disbursement is now strictly tied to the academic session of each institution. A statement by the Director of Strategic Communications, Osheyemi Oluwatui, states that in line with the directive, students shall only be entitled to keep loans for their current academic session, and upon the conclusion of an institution's academic year, upkeep payments for that session shall automatically cease. She further says interested loan applicants are required to apply for the loan at the beginning of every academic session to be eligible for both institutional charges and upkeep for that particular session. To ensure accuracy and transparency, the NELFund loan portal is being automated to reflect this adjustment. Meanwhile, the African Institute for Statecraft International has held an inaugural lecture on reinventing leadership and democratic governance in Africa, with the sole aim of influencing a process which will strengthen governance and prudent economic management. Unveiling the series, academic doyens and seasoned politicians said for Nigeria to overcome its challenges of economic and political hardship, there must be a strong will to redesign the electoral process and put necessary structures which will advance the nation.
It is high time for us to build quality leaders, leaders of integrity, people of vision, people of capacity. And that cannot happen in isolation. It can only happen through teaching and learning.
People at the subnational level, even at the local government level, all of them who are in governance must be held accountable by the citizens. That is why they are elected into office in the first place. And it is through this holding accountable interaction between the citizens and the people who lead them.
What we can do as a citizen is to develop the attitude of discipline. Set discipline right from our home, our offices, and wherever it could be. America became the world leader not in a day.
A nation must understand that it must design its processing in such a way that anybody who wishes to access it can access it based on competence and fairness.
The stakeholders advocate participatory democracy, which will guarantee good governance, citizens' welfare and national development within the ambit of a united and prosperous Nigeria. A delegation from the Ningbo Municipal People's Government of China has visited the Nigeria-China Parliamentary Friendship Group at the House of Representatives. Their mission is clear: to seek recommendation from Parliament on the most suitable location in Nigeria to establish a sister city partnership with Ningbo. Ignatius Nkwo reports that this visit forms part of a growing wave of bilateral engagements driven by the Parliamentary Friendship Group.
While the National Assembly may be on recess, the pursuit of foreign investment for Nigeria is far from taking a break. A 6-man Chinese delegation arrived at the House of Representatives. The team representing Ningbo City in Jiangxing Province, China, was on a business mission, meeting with the Nigeria-China Parliamentary Friendship Group of the House of Representatives. Chairman of the parliamentary group, Jafaru Yakubu, described the engagement as a strategic step to deepen economic and developmental ties between the two nations, particularly in rural development, trade, agriculture and industry. He recalled that the recent bilateral summit convened by the group created a rare platform to address challenging issues in Nigeria-China relations.
Nigeria is the biggest market for China. So that's the need why we convened for a summit, the first of the kind where a parliamentary arm of government, the legislature, has done a summit to bottle the neck of trade deficit. That's the trade volume between Nigeria and China.
Like to see how we can collaborate in the area of sports between Nigeria and China.
Leader of the Chinese delegation pledged readiness to invest in any Nigerian city recommended by the parliament.
So we'll see if there's any chance for us to collaborate on the development of the port operations.
Ningbo is a major port city in Zhejiang Province with over 600 seaports. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Avoid substance abuse as a way of coping with mental health challenges, say experts. But shortage of manpower in the treatment of mental health illnesses, high cost and stigmatization have also been highlighted as major issues limiting access to professional therapy and treatment of mental issues. Amaka O reports.
Data provided by the World Health Organization states that about 40 million Nigerians are affected by mental health illnesses caused by biological and psychological factors.
Beyond just work-life balance is work-life equitable living. Living like at this point, I'm creating a balance in, oh, my family needs my care. You give it as much attention as it needs. And at this point, my job needs, you give it as much attention. At this point, I need care. You give yourself as much attention.
Therefore, prioritizing mental health, especially those associated with poverty, toxic relationships, unsafe environment, loneliness, prolonged stress, are among factors that should not be ignored.
And when people try to look at their jobs as jobs that they must be perfect, or having supervisors or bosses that demand perfection, these things tend to increase the level of stress and make the body to respond. Now, it is the response of the body to stress that brings about a breakdown, which we call mental illness.
Adopting coping mechanisms such as engagement with the family and other support systems, cognitive behavioral therapy, mood stabilizer, adequate sleep are important in handling mental health related issues. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
And joining us live from Lagos is Adiola Komiakiri to talk more about mental health. Hello, Adiola.
Hello, Najatu.
Focus, what are the experts saying?
Thank you. Right now, I am standing in the premises of one of federal institutions that treats mental health disorders in Nigeria, the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital in Yaba. It's not the World Mental Health Day. An experience from someone, created this avenue to enlighten Nigerians more on the need to take care of their mental health. Some people have, at one point or the other in life, struggled with, their mental health. And in Nigeria specifically, statistics shows that it's high, the prevalence is high. So I'm here today to speak with the CMD of the hospital, popularly called Yaba West, to tell us why is there the stigmatization, because people do not want to come into this hospital to, take care of their mental health. And another point in time is the Third Mainland Bridge that used to be the juicy spot for suicide, for people to commit suicide. But luckily, the Lagos State government has put security officers of that bridge to prevent anybody from parking and coming down on the bridge. Right now, Dr. Olugbenga Owoeye, what do you think can put a stop to this? Because on the mainland, you just see young people who are mad roaming the streets. How do we prevent this? And how is the cost for those who are having bipolar issues?
Thank you very much for bringing up this issue, because it's an issue that most people don't want to discuss. Now, there is need for us to talk more about mental health. And that's why we are so glad for the national television to come to our institution to bring up this issue, that there is need for us to create awareness about mental health issues all over the world, and in particular in Nigeria. So our studies have shown that about 25% of the population have one diagnosable mental illness or the other. And if this is the case, there is need for us to talk more about it. Rather than stigmatizing those with mental illness, there is need for us now to create support for their care, support for their family, and support for the community. This will go a long way from helping these people in going the wrong way when they have mental health issues. Just like you said, government are doing their own part to ensure that facilities are available. In Nigeria now, we have about 10 of these facilities in Nigeria, this federal institution in Nigeria. And additional 2 was added by this current administration. And the goal is to have mental health institutions in all the states of the federation. So this is one of the ways that we can really tame down or undo the mental issues that we have in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Dr. Owoeye, for the thought on this. Now we know that all hands need to be on deck to intensify campaign to alert Nigerians on what dangerous habits to avoid. And from here, we go straight to the studio, still remaining in Lagos. Hingino, what do you have on your table?
Thank you, Adiola. So, Hingino.
Adiola, and welcome again to Lagos, but this time around in the studio. Despite the 15% tariff imposed on Nigeria's non-oil export by the United States government, the federal government and exporters are already thinking outside the box to leverage the tariff hike by navigating other areas of comparative advantage to sustain the growth trajectory in Nigeria's non-oil export. Joel Pupola reports that stakeholders are holding extensive consultations on how to scale up in areas not affected by the hike.
Netherlands. So you can see in
the new tariff on exports to the United States of America is taking its toll on global trade and world economies. And with the United States being a major destination of Nigerian exports, the need for a thorough evaluation of the impact and engagement with relevant stakeholders to avoid any impending economic backlash is imperative. And this roundtable by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council is a major proactive step to sustain the impressive performance of non-oil exports, leveraging on agricultural produce not affected by the tariff.
We can also build the capacity of our exporters in various areas, in cashew, in cocoa, in other non-oil export, and we also create market linkages and market access to them.
These public enlightenment experts say will place Nigeria at a vantage position, even as engagement with the American government, which the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, represented and other industry players agreed should also be considered.
We avoided retaliatory measures. We opted instead for a calibrated response that protects long-term investor confidence, sustains mutual trade interests, and preserves regional stability.
Some of the products and our competitors worldwide in certain product that goes to the US, you can see we have one of the lowest tariffs. So that presents opportunity for us to grow some of the exports. By geography, by the tariff schemes, we're able to overcome some of those challenges.
Key areas identified to gain competitive edge are cocoa and cashew nuts, as well as value addition on the exported products, which stakeholders agreed will create employment opportunities and boost the capacity of local industries. In Lagos, Joel Pupola, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Lagos Center, has provided a platform for citizens to learn and engage with government policies in various sectors. This is to foster informed decision-making and community development. Adejoke Odeka tells us more.
It's been over 2 years since President Bola Tinubu took the oath of office with the promise of a renewed hope for Nigerians. Despite efforts to alleviate poverty and promote prosperity, particularly through health, agriculture, and education, there is a disconnect at the grassroots level which hinders their potential impact. This town hall meeting and sensitization campaign is the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Lagos Center's way of educating the populace at the grassroots.
We want every household member, whatever you know you want to eat, grow it at the back of your compound. They should take all those websites we have given them concerning this to key into the program.
The Now Fund, like I said, is a loan initiative. It's basically towards the school fees of children, of the youth that are in government-owned institutions.
Each and every parent to encourage their children to tap into the educational sector. The health sector must also be keen by everybody.
The Lagos Center also visited Ije Market in Obalinde, Ikoyi, to enlighten traders on the federal government's hardship alleviation initiatives.
My child is lucky to be a beneficiary and now schools at the University of Ibadan in 200 level.
We are hearing it, but I've not seen it. But today, I thank God for today. That's what I said. They should still come back and find out if we benefited from it.
With the theme, Tinubu Administration's Midterm Report by Mohammed Idris, the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation says the campaign is pivotal in gathering valuable feedbacks and driving continuous improvement. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide continues with Chika Okore in Enugu after the break.
From the Southeast Nigeria Enugu Network Center, welcome. As part of efforts to enhance quality education and promote teachers' development, Enugu State Governor Dr. Peter Mba has flagged off the National Teachers Career Path Policy. Chika Ugu reports that the policy seeks to eradicate quackery and uphold professionalism in the teaching profession.
Good
with the responsibility of impacting knowledge, unlocking potentials, shaping character, fostering critical thinking skills in children, and the foundation of every other profession. The importance of teachers cannot be overemphasized. It is to this end that the National Teachers Career Path Policy was introduced. Enugu State is the first to implement the policy. Governor Peter Mba represented, assured of regular training and retraining of teachers to uphold higher standard of learning.
Education means so much to us because for the dreams we shared and the dreams we're not able to capture today, the kids that our smart green schools will train will come up with better ideas. A huge investment in education in our state, infrastructure, new curriculum of experiential learning, learning materials, a complete ecosystem reform from basic to tertiary. None of that will be complete without professionalizing teaching.
Introduced by the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, the policy provides a framework for the identification, registration, and licensing of qualified teachers based on competence and performance.
Teaching will no longer be a thankless journey. It's a promise that your years of service will be rewarded, your expertise will be celebrated, and your growth will never be stunted again.
Key players in the education sector say the move is a renewed commitment to building an education system that empowers both learners and teachers. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
Enugu residents have continued to applaud the infrastructural development strides of Governor Peter Mba in the state, especially with the recent inauguration of the 5 modern bus terminals at strategic locations for ease of transportation. Chimaroke Ugu sampled the opinions of the people on the importance of the facility in transportation.
Terminals play a crucial role in the transportation industry, serving as key nodes where passengers, goods, and vehicles converge for efficient movement. Whether in air, sea, land, or rail transport, terminals facilitate the smooth operation of transportation system, enhancing connectivity, efficiency, and economic activity. According to the Enugu State Governor, Dr. Peter Mba, bus terminals create more jobs for the teeming youths, increase productivity, accessibility, and urban renewal with economic multiplier effect.
We know that our transport infrastructure is the heartbeat of our development, and it is what we must tackle in order to make sure that we create assets.
Stakeholders are optimistic that the transport infrastructure will serve as a veritable tool for development, especially at the grassroots.
In everything he does, he studies the pros and the cons to ensure that the sustainability of every project is being assured and guaranteed. I'm assuring you that these very projects will stand the test of time.
There's no responsible parent in Enugu State that would want to embark on travel with this kind of project on, that wouldn't know where to go.
They believe that investment in the transportation infrastructure will help grow the GDP of the state. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
And that's our package from Enugu Network Center. Overnight to Najatu in Abuja studios for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Chika, and welcome back to our Abuja studios. The International Organization for Migration, IOM, has reiterated its commitment to supporting Nigeria in finalizing a national financing strategy for sustainable solutions for persons of concern. This assurance was given during a visit by the IOM Deputy Director General of Operations to the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons in Abuja. Ruth Aguele reports.
Migration dialogue continues to be a source of concern for nations, and this Nigeria takes seriously by working towards having a comprehensive national migration policy, which is top priority for the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. This solidarity visit by a delegation of the International Organization for Migration is to reaffirm its support for the national strategy on migration, enhance effective data management for migrants and displaced persons, to advance durable solutions and ensure migration is safe, regular and dignified.
And we will support the operationalization of the two sub-working groups, one for data and solutions and one for security and protection, while emphasizing the importance of harmonizing the data. We commend NCFRMI for initiating the revision of the policy.
The Commission is trying to see that we provide durable solutions against handouts given out to our vulnerable ones. Now we are building skill acquisition centers to scope that to go through the 6 legal zones that we have in this country.
For both parties, they hope to strengthen partnership to operationalize the return, reintegration and reconciliation of migrants across the country, while upscaling efforts for legal pathways that will promote regular migration. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Tertiary Education Fund, TED Fund, has placed high premium on research innovation to raise the capacity of Nigerian tertiary institutions to generate valuable research output, which will transform the country. The words of the fund at the annual Research Week of the National Open University of Nigeria. Executive Secretary of the fund, who was represented by former Vice Chancellor of Lagos University, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe, says the theme of the event is advancing research innovation and knowledge sharing for sustainable development.
There must be deliberate effort to ensure effective synergy between academia, industry, and government to achieve the developmental objectives of research and innovation for sustainable development.
The world over, including Nigeria, the idea that we practice has a stigma that where can you do research, especially for those of us in sciences. It cost me little to think about how I was going to change these views expressed by outside.
We are taking bold steps to place research at the heart of our academic mission.
The current management of the university also attaches its established first ever Directorate of Research Administration and assigning a Deputy Vice Chancellor, Technology, Innovation and Research. Now let's join Kemi in Ibadan for more on Nationwide. Kemi.
And welcome to Ibadan. The federal government has expressed commitment towards embracing and sustaining Nigeria's cultural heritage. Minister of Art, Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, stated this at the grand finale of the 2025 World Shongo Festival held at the Ancient Palace, Oyo Town. Funke Amoli's report is here presented.
The minister, while presenting the UNESCO World Heritage Inscription Certificate for the Shongo Festival to the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Akim Owade I, alongside the Oyo State Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, described the occasion as a proud moment for Nigeria, Africa, and every community that treasures its history. The Minister commended Oyo people for sustaining the centuries-old festival, noting that its UNESCO recognition highlights Yoruba resilience.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu is really looking to see how we can really leverage on this culture, to see how we can continue to propagate and strengthen it, and continue to support festivals such as Shango to make sure that it continues to be a very strong institution for Nigerian cultural expression.
You can see the whites very happy associating with us. So I want our people to be proud to be associated with our culture.
It makes part of the heritage of the Yorubas, the Shango Festival, and it belongs to the identity of your people. So we are showcasing the rich heritage of Oyo.
The event showcasing of Shango identities from different states and cultural display. The historical event was a gathering of cultural custodians to celebrate one of the Nigerians' most vibrant cultural traditions.
Adequate funding, training, and continuous retraining of manpower have been identified as key solutions to the challenges confronting research development in Nigeria. This was the focus at a lecture on the role of science in transformational research in Ibadan. Wasiurov has details.
Research in all its forms plays a pivotal role in societal development. This underscores the importance of science laboratory technologists in Nigeria. Speaking on the theme, the tripod stand in the university, the role of science laboratories in transformational research and sustainable management. Resource persons charge participants to embrace transformative research capable of advancing the nation, particularly in the area of technology.
When we talk about transformative research, we're talking about a research that answers a problem, a research that brings a radical change in what is being done.
The chairperson of ASCON, alongside other stakeholders, expressed optimism that the workshop will further sharpen skills and expand knowledge into this era of innovation and technology.
I believe after the conference, this is going to enhance our research skill, and then also is going to serve as a motivation for colleagues.
When you talk basically about human capital development in the area of research, I think that is where they are very, very relevant.
We make sure there are standards, way of doing things. So without standards, without procedures, there's no science.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, represented, assured that the institution will continue to provide an enabling environment for science laboratory technology to thrive.
Without these technologies, research won't be as it is.
The event marks the 5th biennial workshop of the Association of Science Laboratory Technologists of Nigeria, UI chapter, in Ibadan. Wasiurov, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. We have more reports with Najatu in Abuja. Back to you, Najatu.
As part of the ongoing drive to further foster mutual relations between the military and members of immediate communities, the Nigerian Navy has inaugurated an office complex and other projects for the people of Kokori community in Ethiopia East local government area of Delta State. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
With this brief symbolic ceremony, the people of Kokori can now boast of a befitting office accommodation for community engagement, a borehole and overhead tank to address water shortage. The civil-military relations project is in line with the strategic objectives of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, with emphasis on quick impact projects to reinvigorate Nigerian Navy's civil-military cooperation mandate and to contribute to the ongoing federal government's renewed hope agenda.
As part of ongoing efforts to bolster Nigerian Navy's contributions to national development in ways other than traditional military deployments, the hierarchy of the Nigerian Navy agreed that undertaking projects that could significantly influence development at the grassroots would enhance collaboration with the civil populace across the nation. A project of such magnitude that we are seeing here as an edifice here is a project for the Progressive Union Secretariat for the security statement that the Nigerian Navy has done here in Kokori community.
Nigerian Navy enjoined the people of the area to see the task of securing the nation as a collective responsibility by providing timely intelligence reports to security agencies. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Naval War College in Calabar, Cross River State, has played host to an August visitor, renowned diplomat Professor Ibrahim Gambari, the guest lecturer of members of Course 9 at the War College. Professor Gambari's lecture centered on building strong institutions to enhance security in Nigeria. Paul Abel reports.
Offer Course 9 participants as part of their training at the operational level in this lecture on methods and processes to curbing and restoring peace and conflict resolution mechanism, are told that a military solution may not thrive in all conflict situations.
In the peace process, you will always have spoilers. And as I said, some are homegrown, some are externally induced. And the best approach is really, in my view, sticks and carrots. You isolate the try to isolate the spoilers.
Again in South Africa, he received the highest national award conferred on a non-citizen.
Participants also engaged the guest lecturer in an interactive session on peacemaking and identifying spoilers in peace processes as they tapped from the more than 40 years experience of the diplomatic icon. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Still on security, the Nigerian Army is repositioning its combat readiness through sustained training. Among these carefully designed strategic training includes the Inter-Brigade Combat Proficiency Competition held at the 4 Special Forces Command, Doma, Nasarawa State. Achigli Magaji completes the story.
The competition, which is part of the Combat Readiness Proficiency, has participants drawn from 4 Special Forces Doma, Bochi and the FCT. Addressing the officers at the competition, the commander for Special Forces Command, Doma, Major General Hilary Nzan, who was represented by the Chief of Staff, Brigadier General Murtala Abu Said. The exercise is in line with the Chief of Army Staff Command philosophy of consolidating the transformation of the Nigerian Army into a well-motivated and combat-ready force, as it is organized to assess and sharpen the operational capabilities of the officers.
This competition has been carefully planned as a critical part of professional development aimed at enhancing the physical fitness, mental alertness, leadership qualities, and tactical competence of our officers in the demand of contemporary military operations.
The events to be competed for during this competition include a 10-kilometer endurance race, physical fitness, obstacle crossing, weapon handling, and combat swimming.
The inter-brigades training competition will go a long way in equipping officers from all the brigades with the requisite techniques to confront emerging complex nature of warfare. Achigil Magaji, NTA News.
In a separate but closely related development, the Ministry of Interior says the asymmetric nature of conflict in Nigeria requires a more tactical and intelligence-driven approach. The ministry notes that modern security challenges are complex and no longer follow conventional patterns of warfare. Dennis Temple reports.
Facing a new conflict, and this is an emerging threat where the nation has never passed through it before, and it is called asymmetry.
In Nigeria today, criminal elements deploy guerrilla tactics and infiltrate communities to attack innocent citizens. This, therefore, demands that security agencies must be more proactive, better equipped, and innovative in their operations. That was why Dr. Olubunmi Ojo charged the newly decorated officers to see their promotions not just as a reward, but as a call to higher responsibility in protecting citizens and safeguarding critical national assets.
We expect that they will bring to bear their various experiences to bear in tackling the challenges of national security. The effort the government is doing, the National Security Advisor has galvanized all his team. They are doing an excellent job. And as part of the security architecture, the higher you go, the tougher it becomes. The more promotion you get, the more challenges you face.
They're expected to behave very well. And of course, they're expected to mentor.
22 senior officers were promoted to the rank of Assistant Commandant General, and they pledged to live up to their new responsibilities. In Abuja, Dennis Temple, NTA News.
Now to a fight of another kind, this time against illegal mining, which has remained on the front burner of conversations across the country. Beyond government regulations and community action, the media is equally playing a significant role in promoting public awareness and holding stakeholders accountable. A media parley by the Nigerian Union of Journalists FCT Council is interrogating the risks associated with the practice, with focus on the role of the media. Hamman Jabani reports.
Illegal mining in Nigeria has become a serious national concern as it threatens the environment, endangers local communities, and deprives government of vital revenue. Experts are of the opinion that while laws and enforcement agencies are critical, the role of the media cannot be underestimated.
These are complex problems that calls for multi-sectoral collaboration and robust intervention. The media, as the fourth estate of the realm, is the voice of the people and will always stand as the front line. Hence, the need for effective collaboration.
Some of the conflicts we are having today in mining communities, communal conflicts, they are as a result of illegal operations going on.
Stakeholders are therefore calling on the media to remain consistent, independent, and fearless in their coverage. They note that collaboration with civil society groups, environmental agencies, and local communities will strengthen the impact of this effort.
Illegal mining is not just a mere economic crime. It's an act that fuels insecurity, degrades our environment, undermines lawful investment, and robs our nation of vital resources.
Also, beyond the charters, in view of the charge that the Honorable Minister gave us from the onset, and considering the serious nature of this assignment, we delve very deeply into the provisions of the Mineral and Mining Act 2007, and also looking at the mining regulations of 2011.
As the nation intensifies its war against illegal mining, the media's watchdog's role remains indispensable. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Still on mining, funding the mining industry and increasing Nigeria's relevance in the global market are key areas of focus at the 10th edition of the Nigerian Mining Week to hold in October 2025. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, Farouk Yusuf Yabu, stated this at a press briefing in Abuja, emphasizing that the premium gathering will review the decade-old journey and the prospects ahead.
The decade ahead is not just going to be a mineral potential and opportunity decade, but it is about decisive actions, and it is about achieving global relevance. Nigeria therefore welcomes those who will join us in this great journey. On behalf of the Honorable Minister, Dr. Henry Dele Alaki, I declare the Nigerian Mining Week 2025 officially launched.
The theme of the 10th edition is Nigerian mining, from progress to global relevance. And up next is Sports Update.
Nigerians D Tigers have bowed out of the 2025 Men's Afro-Basket Championship after falling 91-75 to Senegal in the quarterfinals in Luanda. Basketball enthusiasts commended the team's resilience, stressing that although the exit was disappointing, the experience gained would help the squad regroup for future tournaments.
I believe in the next tournament they might do better.
They did well. I'm proud of them.
Despite the strong start, Senegal's superior shooting and defensive organization gradually tilted the contest in their favor. The Tigers showed flashes of brilliance and mounted a spirited second-half fight back, but it wasn't enough to close the gap. In football, Bayelsa Queens FC, popularly known as the Prosperity Girls, have arrived in Abuja ahead of the WAFU Zone B qualifiers for the CAF Women's Champions League, led by coach White Obunda. The team will proceed to Yamoussoukro for the tournament, which runs from August 23 to September 5, 2025. Drawn in Group B, Bayelsa Queens will open their campaign on August 24 against Police Ladies of Ghana before taking on ASCO of Togo and Sam Nelly of Benin Republic. Club chairman Pastor Robin Agonimia Prela expressed confidence in the squad's readiness to make Nigeria proud. Meanwhile, the race to host the 2028 National Sports Festival is heating up, with Bayelsa State now under the spotlight. A delegation from the National Sports Commission has arrived in Yenegua for a thorough inspection of facilities and is holding strategic engagements with stakeholders as competition among bidding states intensifies.
Hopefully, by 2027-2028, Bayelsa will have the rights to host Nigeria for the very first time in the history of Bayelsa State.
And finally in tennis, Italy's doubles duo Sara Errani and Andrea Vavasori defended their US Open mixed doubles title after defeating singles star Iga Swiatek and Casper Ruud in a truly late-night final. The Italians prevailed 6-3, 5-7, 10-6 to complete their mission in the controversial revamped event. For Sports Update, Bright Ibuchu, NTA News.
Thank you, Bright. Sports Update concludes nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Thanks for watching. I'm Najat Atutujani.